In 2017, a new indie game hit the scene called Bendy and the Ink Machine. This game blew up as soon as it came out and was instantly a hit. Everything from its gameplay to its unique graphics and story had people hooked, myself included. Nowadays, Bendy and the Ink Machine is a subject of controversy and ridicule. Now, I know you probably haven't thought about this game in a long time. God knows I haven't. So today I'm going to talk about how a simple little indie game cemented itself in horror history, where it went wrong, and why I still think fondly of it to this day.
Alright, Joey. I'm here. Let's see if we can find what you wanted me to see.
Chapter 1 begins with a note from your old friend Joey Drew inviting you back to the old workshop. The game has a foreboding atmosphere that's complemented by its lack of music, instead opting for a dark ambience approach. As the player wanders through the dark corridors of this previously thriving workshop, you'll often find cardboard cutouts of the little devil himself, but more on him later. That's just unsafe. As the player continues through the workshop, they'll get a bunch of fetch quest items, as well as backstory via tape recordings, while getting occasional jump scares. And that's pretty much it for the first chapter. As the chapters progress, they did add more challenging puzzles, new characters, and more story, with every chapter ending on a cliffhanger. Chapters 1 and 2 were received with an overwhelming amount of support, but the long-awaited Chapter 3, not so much. Fetch quest, combat, annoying mechanics. Now, as long as Chapter 3 was, it was still good, and it got a lot of attention. I mean, personally, with every chapter that came out, I immediately watched Let's Plays and would talk about it for hours with my friends about the new characters, lore, and general theories about the next chapter. But things started going downhill when Chapter 4 was released. Chapter 4 wasn't bad per se, but it felt rushed, there wasn't much to do, and you could beat the chapter in like 20 minutes or so. The chapter also had nothing to do with the other chapters, with the theme being a theme park or something, and that's it. But there is a glimmer of hope for this chapter, the ending, which raised so many questions. Yeah, fuck you, bitch. That's for all those fetch quests. What the fuck? 6 months after the release of Chapter 4, I got home from school, booted up YouTube, and I saw that Chapter 5 had finally been released. I watched Let's Plays, and to sum up, the whole thing felt pretty underwhelming. The boss fight was kind of cool, but there was just something about it. It all just felt so... I think the reason why I personally feel more distant from chapters 3, 4, and 5 are because 1, I had a lot more time with the previous 2 chapters. 2, I prefer the small linear nature of the first 2 chapters. It really did feel like an old small workshop. Unfortunately, when Chapter 3 came out, it was like a full-on factory. It just didn't feel like it was part of the same place. And 3, the years when Chapters 1 and 2 came out were when times were different. There were no responsibilities yet. I didn't have to do well in school. I had some great friends, and I was pretty happy. Now, I know Chapter 1 and 5 came out a mere year and a half apart, but it was still a huge change. Friends moved away, I was a bit of an outcast, and there was stress for getting into the junior high that I wanted to. Even though 4 years later I have more responsibility and have pressure to do well for university, life is good, and now I look back on those chapters and remember them quite fondly. And who knows, maybe I'll look back 4 years from now and remember how great Bendy and the Dark Revival was. Oh yeah, did I mention Bendy and the Dark Revival? I scoffed when I saw the price on Steam for $30 for 1 chapter. You're kidding, right? I know there's more chapters than that, but I didn't understand that. No. This game is a return to what made the series great. Good characters, scary, decent combat, amazing lore and mystery. For a long time, I thought Bendy and the Ink Machine was just going to sit dormant and end up like Hello Neighbor. But no, it's made its glorious and very welcome return. I think we finally reached the light at the end of the inky tunnel.